Okay, so that was the distributive property using rational expressions. Next, we're going to cover how to simplify when we have exponents that are negative and bases that are negative. Okay, so there's a few different scenarios. There are 6 of them written on the board. The first one was rather simple. Now, for all of these, if you follow this process, PEMDAS, this should not be confusing. You need to be able to think about, what does PEMDAS say? Remember that it's parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. What you guys kind of aren't really grasping fully is that whenever you have a negative next to a coefficient or a base, the negative implies multiplication. So it's being multiplied to the number. That comes after the exponents, not before. So you cannot take the negative and think that the negative is being raised to the second power, because it isn't. It is being multiplied to the base, okay? So that's important if you remember that. So in letter A, we have 4 squared. That simply means 4 times 4. That's 16, okay? In B, though, we have a negative, and we've been learning that you cannot have a negative exponent. So you first have to make it positive by giving me the reciprocal. So if I put that over 1 and then I flip it, I end up with 4 squared. Well, 4 squared equals 1 over 16. You have to multiply 4 times 4. So the answer is 1 over 16. So far, so good. Now, in C, I have a little bit of a problem here because I have a negative being multiplied to 4 squared. So following the rules of PEMDAS, I have to do exponents first. So I have to exponent first, so 4 times 4 would be 16. Then I multiply, that means I bring down my negative, and it's negative 16, okay? And letter E, because it's in parentheses, PEMDAS says you have to do parentheses first. So everything in the parentheses is being raised to the second power. So it looks like that, negative 4 times negative 4. That only happens when it's in the parentheses. A negative times a negative is a positive, so the answer to this one is 16. In letter E, once again, we have to do PEMDAS, but we have to make this positive. So we cannot follow this until we make this positive. So put it over 1, flip it. Now, when you flip it, this stays exactly the same except the exponent changes. So you still put negative 4 squared. That's important. Don't change the negative in front of the 4 to a positive. Only the exponent changes. And then you do PEMDAS. So you're going to say 1 over, PEMDAS would be 4 squared, 16, drop the negative. So 1 over negative 16 is the answer. And the last one is, put this over 1, give the reciprocal. Again, copy it exactly the same, except change the exponent, okay? The difference between here and here is that the exponent is in the parentheses. So you would do it the same way you did it over there. So negative 4 squared would be 16 and has a numerator of 1. So the answer to this one is 1 over 16. So you can see 6 different ways to do these problems. Please review these rules, go over them, and let me know if you have questions.